Uh, I've had on a Christian identity member, and the reason I have these people on, anytime the government or the press starts demonizing a segment of our population, as they tried to do with the Branch Davidians, as they tried to do after I started the militias, helped start the militias around the country. They go in and demonize you, and they were doing that in the Homeland Security Assessment Report about Christian identity. So I started interviewing them, and they've got some interesting aspects. They say that us white folks, you know, were the Israelites, and we walked out of the area across the Caucasus Mountains and became called Caucasians. And I could buy into that. We didn't the white race didn't spring up here in America or in Europe, so we had to come from somewhere. And I think we've got as much right to claim to be God's chosen people as the so-called Jews in Israel. But the people in the Christian identity movement itself, the pastors, were pretty good. They were pretty interesting, and they had some good points. But the people that were in it were scumbags. I mean, these are people that wanted to go out and kill other people. And I'm going, you're supposed to be Christians, and you want to go out and kill the Mexicans, or you want to go out and kill the blacks? We all ought to be standing side by side, arm's length, saying, no, we're not going for this one world government thing. So I ran into opposition there, and over the years, I've run into more opposition from Christians than I have from the Muslims or the Jews. What I have referred to Judeo-Christianity as possibly being, I'm a satanic Christian. Thank you. Now we mentioned a little bit of this in our earlier conversations.
Yeah.
But the even the Tea Parties right now, the Tea Parties are doing good, but I'm being barred from Tea Parties. Why? Because I talk to everybody. I gather information from a lot of sources all over the world, and evidently they don't want you to hear that. What is happening with Christianity? Did the Schofield Bible, which his notes and footnotes in the Bible, try to point towards the Jews as being God's chosen people, and when you watch the news about what's going on in Israel, it's really hard to believe that either. What's wrong with these religions? I mean, and by the way, the Muslim religion was started because they wanted to worship one God. They believed in one God, and they didn't want to worship idols. They didn't want to, follow the Pharisees, and they were actually more pro Jesus Christ than the Jews were. And now we're heading into it looks like an engineered war with them. We were in Iraq, we're in Afghanistan, and we may be in Iran sometime soon. What's happening?
What's happening is 2 Timothy is being fulfilled, which says that in the last days perilous times will come, and we're going to see this even with believers. And Jesus talks states that if he doesn't come back, there would be nobody left. There would be no faith. There would be nobody left who would even believe. That's how wicked the times are becoming. And yes, it's happening in our own circles.
We can't have a Christmas tree. We can't have a Christmas. We can't even refer to it as Christmas. They want us to call it Xmas. That seemed to me to be a direct war on the Christian faith itself.
Oh, absolutely. And we're going to see more and more of this. As the forces, Satan is gaining more power as the time comes closer, and the demonic forces are just being unleashed. Because he knows his time is short.
How did your study of the Bible, this biblical prophecy, and The 666. I mean, isn't 666 on all of our barcodes?
666, I devote a several paragraphs. It in the scripture, it deals with currency and it deals with idolatry. But and in the mark of the beast is also going to be used by his police state. So I know what you're referring to about the barcodes, but it's even more involved in that.
Do you think this mark of the beast is this little RFID chip that they're marketing now as a health link?
Yes, that is the chip. And it will be used in the Antichrist police state, which is what the Bible describes. It's perfect dictatorship. And it's beyond that because it has to do also with those who take the mark are, giving their allegiance to him by doing it. So it's not just about buying and selling, but it's about a sign of allegiance to his government, to him. And yes, Digital Angel, which I know is I talk about on my website, produces that chip, and there's several other companies as well that are following and producing their own chip. And it's exactly as the Bible describes.
Now, what about the Antichrist? Now, we keep looking, and some people think Hitler, some people think Napoleon was this Antichrist. What is in your research? Who is the Antichrist? Is that the European Union? Is it, as some people say, that's Prince Philip in England? Some people think he is in. Some people think Obama maybe, and Obama is the perfect New World Order manager, I guess you could say. I mean, he's black, he's Muslim, he's Jew, he's Christian, he's all of the above.
Well, I actually made a video about a video blog as well as a written blog, and it's my view that Obama is preparing, just as John the Baptist prepared the way for the Antichrist, that Obama is preparing the way, that his policies are going to bring about the complete demise of the U.S. and going to tip this. I mean, it's going to just be the last straw that just tips the scales, and that will present the perfect environment for when the Antichrist comes on the scene with his policies, which will offer solutions to the global problems at that point. Because there will be a major ripple effect as this country economically topples, which it's going to do. Our dollar cannot withstand this deficit and the amount of spending that this government that Obama is, spending, and just printing money that's not there.
George Bush gave away $2 trillion, and your grandchildren could never pay the interest on that $2 trillion.
Yes, you're right. It's been cumulative. It's not just been Obama. It's been the presidents before. But Obama's policies are just way over the top as far as spending and going to really tip it into that other direction. And it was interesting because about a week ago, there was an article that stated that the global economy was doing well, but the U.S. economy was still suffering greatly. And that's not surprising.